Good day, guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe, and also drop your comments if you have any questions. And my details is in my YouTube bio, so you can also contact me off YouTube if you have any form of help that you think I'll be able to help you with. So that being said, in this video we will start the first part of the um, page object modeling, not the first part, essentially the second part of the final part. I'm going to end this series here where we will be able to successfully create page object modeling, and in the next series with Python I'll be doing TDD, that's with PyTest, and in the other one I will do BDD, which would be with behave. So as it is right now, what we have here, we've been able to create we've been able to start the page object modeling by creating a place where we can get all our data, and we actually used a class. I was playing around with it to just mention a good practice. When you create a class, always put a doc string. A doc string sort of helps you with documenting your class, any class that you create. So you have to put in a detailed, even if you create methods, you can also put a doc string which would essentially talk about what the method accepts and what it returns. And that way, when it's time to create a document out of your project, you can actually use those doc strings to make explanation for all the classes that you have running in your system. So we can equally say this, just come here and say that this stores elements on the product page, and we can also go further and do the same thing here and say, okay, for the payment details page, this also stores element for the payment details page, and this one stores it for the elements where you complete your order. So now that has been said, let us get to the nitty-gritty, the elephant in the room. We want to create page objects. So in simple terms, what are page objects? Page objects are the actions and elements you collect on a particular web page. Now let me explain that. If you have a login page, let us use our project for as an instance. We do have an home page, and on this home page we came to the men's tab, and we got to the tops and went to, after getting to the tops, we went to hoodies and sweatshirts, and we clicked that, right? We clicked that, and after clicking it, we selected an item. We scrolled down, expanded it, and selected an item. Now, this is just the home page. The last action we did on the home page was click hoodies and sweatshirts. So which means we'll collect the elements for men, we collect the element for the tops, we collect the element identifier for hoodies and sweatshirts, and we click it. So which means there are like 3 or 4 actions. The first one is the first action is to over the mouse on men's tab. That's the first action. And the first element there is the men's tab element. We over the tops element, that's the second element, and the second action is also a mouse over. And the last action is, we are not just overing over the hoodies and sweatshirts, which is the third element we are collecting, but we are also clicking it. So the third action is a click. So we have a mouse over for the first 2 and a click for the third one. And we have 3 elements to collect: the men's tab, the tops under the men's tab, and the hoodies and sweatshirts. So we can collect all of this and create an action file for it, an object file for it. That is what page object is essentially about. So we can create, let me just create one here and call it, let's call that home page objects. Yeah, let's call it home page objects. Good. Now, there is no missing doctrine because we've not created a class, so calm down. So here, we can borrow everything that we have here. We can borrow everything that we've done here first. Yes, let's just borrow all of this to just create an example of what we want to do. Then we paste. So now that we have this, we create a class, because everything works inside the class. So inside this class, we'll say, let's say home page. Now that we have the home page, let's call it home page actions, or maybe home page objects, right? Objects. So with this done, let's put a dot string. We can say this helps to resolve all actions carried out on the home page, right? We have that done. Yep, but we will not be needing this here because we will create a dunder method inside the class, inside this class. What's a dunder method? A dunder method is, and then a method expressed this way, init.self. Now, in simple terms, what the dunder method does for you is it creates like a way to establish global variables within your class, global access to things within your class. So the way we had this before, where this driver is accessible to everything here, in order to achieve that in the class, we will need to put it under the dunder method, and we have to start with something called self. So I'll just cut everything here and paste it in front of self dot. Now, I believe I've explained something like this in the class files that I mentioned the other time. So let us reduce the space in between here. So now that we have this here, it means the driver is accessible everywhere. So I can create a new class and say dev launch page. Like, it should launch the page. Of course, that self will come with it. By default, it's a good practice to use self. To use self in it. You can put any other word there. So you can call this, maybe I can call it my name, and call this my name as well. It just means that everywhere it is referenced, I can put my name there. But by convention, rename to self, it is good. So let's just rename it to self and everything would be okay. So everything goes back to self as it should be. Now, with this said, we can now use this same driver to launch the home page. So you can say self, we can copy this. I can just do self, and inside our index file, just copy this, right, and put it there. Self.driver.get home page, and it will work. So I can, it's a missing doc string thing. Like I told you, best practice, you can put a doc string like ODS. This, just 3 quotes before and 3 quotes after, like this method launches the page, right? So now that I've done this, what do I need to do next? Let me just open all of this, maximize the window and all of that. So let me just maximize the window as well and put that there and say self dot driver. I don't need to do that. Let me just paste. Let me paste this there. So maximize the window. So now that I've done this, it launches the page. What does it return? It returns a launched web page. So, or you just put a parameter there. Now that we've done this, we can try to test this if it works. So how do we test that? Let us just create a file. Let's create a directory, not a Python package. Why do we need a directory? In the previous videos, I did explain that when you are using the Python package, it means you want to reference the files under those packages. And using a Python package is not just about best practice. It gives you an opportunity to be able to intuitively reference these packages. But this test file, the file inside it will not be referenced anyway. It is the final place where you work from. So we can call it the runners. Just call it runners. I really suck with names. So now that we called it the runners, so we can import this class. We can import this file homepage objects inside it. That's where we want to run from. So we just say from resources, and inside resources we have two files. So the one we need is the homepage object. We are going to import the homepage object. That's what is inside it. So you have to be careful. As you can see that there are two places that we named homepage. So you have to know where you're getting from, and you're getting from your resources file. So that's the one you pick. You hit enter, and that is done. So we can easily just say for test, let's just call it test, equals homepage objects. You call in the class. So it means you have access to the class now. So we can say test dot, as you can see, launch page is there. So we can launch the page. So we can run this right now, run runners, and we expect it that it will launch the page for us. As you can see, it launched the page, and look at the difference. We did not need the driver.quit. It started and it ended by itself because it has actually run the course for that particular class. So once the class is done, it just closes itself. It closes that session. Now, what this means is this. We have been able to create a sample page object file, but is that the best way for us? Because what it means is that after getting here, being able to work on the home page, once we get to the product page, the product listing page, it means we need another page object file that would help us scroll to 36, scroll to the last part of the page, pick our selected one. So once we do this, it means we'll need another page object file to run the product page, right? So what can we do that will make it easier on us to run everything at once? What we can do is simply understand the essence of the page object modeling. The main reason we are doing page object modeling to start with is to make things easier on us. To make things easier on us, then we need to understand what exactly we are trying to make easier. The actions that we are going to do on the page, they are usually very similar. Take for instance, I hovered on this and I hovered on this. Then I click this. You see that I have clicked. When I get here, I actually did click. Then I selected, right? It's a common action. Stay with me. And what am I doing here again? I'm doing a click action. When I've done the click action, this is another click action. This is another click action. Okay, I need it. I've clicked again, then this is another click action. Then when this is done, this is another click action. I get here to click on proceed again. So how many times have I clicked? I think I've lost count. Then when I get here, I need to start inserting details, right? I put something here, right? Yopmail, let's say yopmail.com. And I also begin to insert more details. So which means now at this point, I am inserting details. At this, and how many times do I need to insert details? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I need to insert details. So it means that for every page I am going to be doing a common action on those pages. I'll wait for the page to load and I'll start either clicking or typing on the page, because once I'm done with all the typing I need to do, I'll click on next. And when I click on next, when I get to the checkout page, I'll click on place order. So which means I have so many click actions and so many insert actions. So why don't I just create one simple page object file that will click any element for me, that would insert any word for me, and would verify any page for me. So that way, it means what that would save me is, if I create another file, I don't need to worry about how I'm going to save the driver session that I'd already clicked on the home page. How I'm going to save it and use it on the, what's it called, on the product listing session, and also still use that action, the driver that has gone to the product detail page. I'm going to continue to use that driver. I won't need to worry about that because I can have all of them in just one single file. My page is launched. Once my page is launched, I can begin to click. Everything just continues to work. So in the next video, that is what I'm going to do. I am not going to go through the process of creating. Let me just create one more class to just buttress this point. So let's say over men's tab, because that's the first one we need to do. Over men's tab, and in the men's tab, what will I do? It means I will come to my index file here on web. So I need the wait action and I need the action drivers. So what do I need to do now? I'll first copy this. Let's just carry these ones. Let's take them here first. So in my Donda method, I need to put them there. In my Donda method, because that way they will be accessible. So let me just bring this one in like this. So we just call this self.driver, and again self.driver. So now that this is done, you can call this a self.action as well, so it can be used and can be referenced. So self.wait. So we can have it this way. So for the men's tab, what do I need to do now? Sorry, index. I just need to get to collect men's tab and move this action on men's tab. That's all. So let's edit that here. Let me indent it properly. Yes, the indentation is done. So I just call this self.driver and self.action.move element, right? And I can also do the docstring. We already know that we can do the docstring to make this good enough. So now, with this done, I can come to our runners page and also call test.overMen's tab, right? Now, we will probably need the same action for main stop. You see that we are overing twice and we are creating that method twice, right? So we need to go to over main stop, and this time around, what do we need there? We just go to index. This is for main stop, right? So we just need to change what is here. So let's just copy everything. Let's copy everything and bring it here. Then we edit accordingly. So we call it self and self.action. And the last part of it, we want to click on men's. We want to click on men's hoodie. So we do this. So we are going to copy that and create a new class, a new method to say click men's hoodie. Click men's hoodie, right? And we add that here. So we just add self to this. So when we call all these actions here, we call them one after the other. Say test dot over men's tab, we've done that. Then over men's stop is the next action, is the next step, and then the last step will be tests click men's hoodie. Now if you run the runners file now, we expect it to launch the page over on the men's tab, over the men's stop, and click the men's hoodie. As you can see, it has done that. Now what this interprets to us is, even inside our method here, all the click actions that we need to do, we have to do them one after the other. For clicking the men's hoodie, for clicking all of that, when we get to the next page, it means that we finished everything on the home page right now. We need to now start thinking about the next page object. And that's a lot of files we are creating. But we can create just one single file, right? That will be able to click anything for us, insert anything, wait for any element. We just need to pass in those elements as arguments. So I will stop this here. Thanks for getting this far with me. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And in the next video, we will create a single file that we can use to replace every other thing, which will just carry all our actions. So we can just have a single, I will call it an utility file, so to speak, because it does everything. It can click on anything, it can insert anything anywhere, and it can also you can click on anything, you can insert anything anywhere, and it can also wait for any elements. You can verify any elements that you need to verify based on the kind of verification you want to do. So with that being said, thank you. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.